So this month is this rebirth, and there's this idea of kind of like a phoenix, there's parts of us that die and then we come up out of those ashes. And I love that imagery, I don't know if anybody's watched Harry Potter or read them, but that first time that Harry sees Fox, the phoenix, and how he's like, oh, I'm so sorry, I don't know what happened to your bird. And then he comes back up out of those ashes, reborn and renewed. And I love what Dumbledore says in there too. And he's like, oh, I'm so glad, because he was looking horrible, and it's like it was time for him to go. And that happens to us in this life, in our current incarnation. This happens to us, where it's like you can see parts of yourself. And I don't know if anybody else has gone through this. I've gone through this several times throughout my life, where I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, I don't know who that is right now. Like things are so kind of disoriented, or not where you are or who you are. And you look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, that's not me. I don't know what's happening to me. Those are those moments where it's time to die, and then let yourself come back up out of the ashes, And sometimes that's hard. Sometimes it requires a lot of quiet, and it requires a lot of self-reflection and honesty with yourself, right? What am I compromising? What am I foregoing in my daily life that is these things that really I should be doing for me, that are for me, nurturing me, supporting me in a way that helps me to actually be the best that I can be for other people, be what I need to be for the people around me. And that is a thing that often many people, especially people who are kind and loving and caring, we will give and give and give until we look in the mirror and we don't know who we are anymore, because we've given every little part of ourselves that we can. And then it's time to pause and regroup and gather the parts back together again. When we gather those parts back together again, though, it is very, very important that we choose how we want them put back together. We don't want to just put them back together the exact same way, because you will look in the mirror again and not see yourself again, right? And that will just keep happening. So it's important that when you are reconstructing, you choose what's serving you, what's not serving you. What do I need to keep for my betterment, and what do I need to let go of for my betterment, right? And that's this beautiful process of us being sovereign beings, if we so choose to be. So, who's never meditated in here? All right, cool. So you guys are sitting perfect. You were worried about that. I don't want you to worry about that. You got it. So, so when we meditate, I had heard somebody said this. It was on a podcast that I heard recently. Who said this? I always want to give credit to the things that I hear, because I'm not, taking somebody else's work. But I've always talked about discipline, and I have a Judeo-Christian background that helps me to think of discipline as what it means to be a disciple. But I've kind of modified that for myself in my life, and it's can I be a disciple to, and not meaning myself in a narcissistic way, but in to my needs, right? And then I heard somebody say the other day that discipline, oh yeah, I know what this was. It was on the Diary of the CEO. Anyway, the guy that he had on there, he said discipline is what you do for your future self. And I liked that so much, because it's when you instill discipline within yourself, you're actually doing these things for your future self. So when we meditate and we are sitting in these postures learning to be inside of our vessel in a way that we are sitting with the uncomfortable, finding the peace inside of ourselves, calming the nervous system down, the whole thing. We're actually doing that for our future self, right? It feels like we're doing it for right here, for right now, but we're doing it for our future self. So I would encourage everybody to kind of tonight, as we're going to go through our meditation practice, that it's like everything, and this goes right with our theme too. So just, holding all of this together, it's like I do these practices for my future self. Like everything that I do, my dedication to my practice, my family, the way I feed myself, the way I nourish myself with sleep or with, movement or whatever it is, my relationships, all of these things revolve around there is this present moment, but this present moment creates a field within myself that carries me forward so that I'm healthier in the future. Does that make sense? That's really that's my biggest and most sincere prayer for all of us, is that everything that we're doing is carrying us forward and bringing strength into ourselves from here to lend into the future. So when life gets hard and things happen and, it gets wonky, the world just gets wonky, we actually have these practices to fall back on. We have that as a balance inside of us. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and sit up nice and tall. And as you allow yourself to sit in your chosen position for your seated practice tonight, the big encouragement is to allow the crown of the head to be pulled up long so that all of the other vertebrae go down to the tailbone, and then those sits bones rock into your bolster. That way you know that the head and heart and pelvis are all in alignment. So you have options with your hands, palms out, palms down, chin mudra with your fingers if you want to, and then, or the cupping position. And again, more feminine feeling inside of you tonight. Your left goes under the right, more masculine, your right goes under your left. Eyes are closed softly. And then if it's available to you, I always encourage people to have a little smile on your face. It sends a signal to your nervous system that things are okay and that you're safe. Try to feel into the teeth, that they're not touching, the jaw is loose, the tongue is loose. And then just allow yourself to breathe. You can just feel your nervous system start to quiet down as you allow yourself to connect deeper and deeper into your breath. We tend to be chest breathers in the United States, and if we can bring that breath down into the diaphragm and really open your entire rib cage up with the inhale and then let it fall back down with the exhale, so that you can feel that diaphragm even included in this breathing. Can be really aware of the feeling at the tip of your nose. And then follow the feeling, follow the sensation back to the back of your throat. For tonight, for our object of our meditation, I would encourage you to imagine a beautiful mirror. The mirror is a reflection, it's a reverse image of who you are. Everything in it is backwards, everything in it is an opposite. Now, as we imagine the mirror, allow yourself to imagine your own reflection in there. It's the image that you know what you look like. You can see your eyes and your eyebrows, your forehead, your hairline, your cheeks, your nose, your lips, your jaw, your neck. Sometimes when we see ourselves in the mirror, there is this familiarity. It's what we know. As you see this imagery of yourself, I'm encouraging you to see the reflection with a smile and with a look of peace and contentment on your face. Holding the image of peace along your forehead and your eyes. And the same with your mouth, your smile. If there's anything that you are seeing that you are critiquing or dissatisfied with, just go back to this imagery of peace and contentment. I'd like you to allow your image of yourself to go forward into the future. Holding this very peaceful image of yourself, peaceful. Maybe 5 years, maybe 10 years, whatever comes into your imagination. And I just want you to hold it there. Maybe there's a little bit more wisdom in your eyes. Maybe the smile is a little bit more thoughtful. Maybe the neck and shoulder line looks like it's a little bit more filled with ease and satisfaction. I'd like you to picture, imagine, or think about that imagery that you're seeing in the future is just thanking you for the efforts and the commitments that you've made to yourself. And take a moment to notice how you feel vibrationally in your body with that gratitude. So you can let the imagery of the mirror and the future self go. And just stay with how your current self feels for the next few minutes. Start to reconnect with your breathing again, being aware of the feeling of the inhales and the exhales coming in and out of your nose and the back of your throat. And start to bring some movement back into your body. Please allow your eyes to be the last thing to open. Okay. So everything is about the feeling. So you create the correct feeling and then you got it. So that's all. So we get stuck in the mire on the details. Does anybody hit their toes or their feet ever? I'm a chronic toe stubber. Do you know what that means? That means that we worry about little minor details. So every time you stub your toes, start thinking, what am I worrying about? What am I freaking about? So those are the energetically, your toes are fear of the little tiny details on things. They're little tiny digits, and then we stub them. So we want to let go of the detail and be more focused on the feeling of what's coming in, okay? Because if you allow the feeling to come in, then everything else will take care of itself. It's very interesting. We are, myself included, very arrogant in the fact that we think that we're controlling everything. It's really quite funny, but we're not. we're like totally not. I mean, there's so many things that, like these things happen in your life and you're like, I would have never in a million years allowed that to happen or tried to make that happen, or especially when things like work out, you're like, it's not even possible. You know what I mean? And so we're very arrogant. It doesn't mean that we just sit around on our laurels and we just wait for the world to come at us. That's not what I'm suggesting. But it's more about the feeling of where we're headed rather than the details on how to get there. Let that stuff unfold as you focus on keeping your vibration high, okay? And envisioning the best parts of yourself coming together to make it all happen. Okay, and then that's when it's juicy and it gets cool. Okay, so we have on May 1st, which is a Friday night, we have Sacred Light, Liighc. Next Friday. It's next Friday. Coming, and they're going to be doing a cacao ceremony and then they do I think they do holy fire Reiki. And then they have this really cool light machine that actually helps rebalance your frequency in your body. And then they are very talented musicians. So, and last time there were 2 people, this time there's 3 people. So I'm really excited about that. So that is, what's the cost on that again, Quint?
I want to say 55.
55, thanks Paige, 55.
Or 66 at the door.
Or 66 at the door. You really want to get your tickets ahead of time on this one because that's a big increase, yeah. So, And it really is cool. So you don't need to bring anything. I do think you're lying down. So we do have, I mean, if you have a yoga mat or a little cushion, it would be kind of nice. But, we have all the blankets and the bolsters and all of that good stuff here. The cacao ceremony thing, I think, will be just like a nice little way to have like this, like lift inside of your cells while they're doing all of that. So I think it'll be kind of a beautiful expression this time, because they came last year, so different thing than last year. So I'm excited for that. Anything that said, I think those are the only like really cool things that we have going on right now. So
What's the theme for May?
it's a secret.
Find out on the first.
That's right. You guys will find out next week. You'll get the calendar next week, I promise. Okay, and yeah, it's all about mothers. It's about the divine mother within all of us. So okay, and I'm trying to think. And then, next month, if you guys are down, we do have our hiking club, but it's going to be a water activity. So if you guys are into that type of thing, you want to start kind of like making sure you got all your stuff together for that. It's going to be at Canyon Lake, and it'll be paddleboarding and or kayaking at Canyon Lake, so which will be kind of fun.
You don't have equipment, it's okay, they have a rental place there.
They do, but even with that, you need to do that ahead of time.
So you do have to rent ahead.
Yeah, do not plan on doing it that day because you will be SOL. All right, and everybody knows what that means. Okay. All right, you guys, I'll see you next week. Thank you so much. Bye. Thank you. Thank you.